Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel for another quick champion guide, and today we're taking a look at Dani Moonstar, who is easily the best mutant to come to mcoc in well over a year. So if you found this video because you just pulled her and you're wondering if she's any good, congratulations, because she is really good. Now, she is a bit tricky to get the hang of, but once you kind of work out how her kit works with the Falter and everything, you're going to find her to be absolutely dominant in a variety of game modes and fights. Before we dive in, let's answer that burning question: does Dani Moonstar need Awakened? And for her, the answer is yes, and ideally you're going to want her at high to max sig. Now, the dupe doesn't affect her damage output in the majority of fights, but the unique utility that you gain from having it is incredibly valuable. So the dupe gives her a bit of extra damage against debuff shrugging champs, mostly in the skill class, but more importantly, it makes her the single best Nick Fury counter in the game by completely disabling his second life. We'll cover that in more detail shortly, but first let's jump into some gameplay. Okay, so the first thing you want to know is that every 10 hits in your combo, Dani is going to gain an illusion passive. You can think of this kind of like one of Killmonger's counterpunch charges, except that when your block gets hit, you trigger a Falter rather than an Unstoppable, but functionally, they're going to feel very similar. Now, once you gain the illusion, you want to let the defender hit into your block once to trigger a Falter. Then you want to let them miss a few times to gain some neural arrows. Then these are going to stack up to 5. Hitting into the opponent while they're faltered is going to grant you prowess. These also stack up to 5. So keep doing this, build up to above a bar of power, fire off your special 1. So the special 1 is going to apply an energy vulnerability passive, and from here you want to rinse and repeat while you build up to your special 2. Make sure that you have 5 neural arrows and 5 prowess before using it, and once you're at 2 bars of power, trigger the Falter again. That's very important. Fire off the special 2 while they're faltered, and then watch the magic happen. Okay, let's rewind a bit here and talk about why triggering your special attacks during the Falter is very important for Dani. So on activation, special attacks are going to convert your active prowess buffs into passive prowess effects, but if they're faltered, you're also going to gain new prowess buffs from hitting the opponent, which means you're increasing your prowess limit to 10 instead of 5. Okay, let's watch that same fight again at full speed. By the way, this is a 200k health opponent, exactly what you should expect to see in Battlegrounds. So at the start of the fight, we're going to build up to 10 hits in our combo. That's going to grant us an illusion, letting him hit into our block to trigger the Falter, and then when he misses, that's going to grant us neural arrows. Firing off the special 1 here to gain the energy vulnerability passive, and now we're just going to rinse and repeat. We already have our next illusion from our 20th hit in the combo, so we got 5 neural arrows up here. We're going to try and build up to our 5th prowess. I think what I do is I trigger the Falter, hit him once, and then launch the special 2 so that we guaranteed to have 5 prowess before the special 2 starts. There we go, we've converted the prowess. We are gaining more prowess during the special 2, and then the final hit does him in. So there we go, 200k health opponent dead in I think 39 seconds. Once you really get comfortable with utilizing that Falter mechanic, she's going to feel very powerful to you. Okay, real quick, let's review the rotation. So again, every 10 hits in your combo is going to grant you an illusion passive. If you have an illusion available, take a blocked hit to trigger a Falter passive on the defender, and if they miss you while they're faltered, that's going to grant you a neural arrow. These stack up to 5, and then if you hit into them while they're faltered, that's going to grant you a prowess buff, also stacking up to 5. So it's important to kind of balance out the missed hits with the hits into them while that Falter is active on them. So you want to use the special 1 then to apply an energy vulnerability passive, and then from there build up to your maximum of 5 neural arrows and prowesses by utilizing those illusions on every 10th hit in your combo. Once you're at 2 bars of power, intentionally trigger the Falter, and then use your special 2 while they're faltered to gain the extra 5 prowess, and if they're not dead by then, just rinse and repeat. Okay, so let's back up and talk in a little bit more detail about Dani's signature ability, why you want her awakened, and why you ideally want her at high to max sig. So let's cover this second part first. It says, when the opponent's health is at or below 10%, inflict an indefinite marked passive on them. So what the marked passive does is it completely disables any and all cheat death mechanics. So this includes things like Hercules' immortality, Immortal Hulk's immortality, indestructible effects like you would find on Hela or Punisher, and I haven't tested this specifically myself yet, but I'm pretty sure it also counters nodes with regen like you would find in Life Cycle, which is absolutely one of the most annoying nodes in the game. Now, I did say earlier that at max Sig she becomes the best Nick Fury counter in the game, but when it comes to Nick Fury, destroying his LMD causes him to purge all negative effects from himself, which means with that marked passive, he's just going to purge that marked passive as well. And that's kind of where the first part of the signature ability comes in. Now, on the surface, it kind of looks like standard mutant utility these days, punishing tenacity by reapplying her Neuroshock debuffs as passives when they're shrugged off. But the key here is that when a skill champ has any Neuroshock effect on them, they are unable to heal. So the reason you really want Dani at max Sig is because in order to completely disable Nick Fury's second life, you need him to convert a Neuroshock debuff into a Neuroshock passive when his LMD is destroyed. And at max Sig, you have a 100% chance to do so. At Sig 1, you can see here there's only a 23% chance to do so. Now, it is possible to have up to 5 of these Neuroshock debuffs on him at one time so that when the LMD is destroyed, you have 5 chances at 23% chance each. And that's not awful, but you really want to guarantee this conversion, and that's why I think she's really going to demand Sig 200. Okay, let's show you an example of how you would practically play against a Nick Fury with Dani. This is a rank 5 4-star against my rank 4 Nick Fury. So remember, you still do have to kind of manipulate his AI because you don't want him gaining enough tack charges to counter your Falter. So we gained 10 hits, we've triggered the Falter, we gained some Neuro Arrows, a couple Prowess here. We're going to push him to this special 2. And as I recall, it takes an extraordinary amount of time here for him to actually throw this special 2. But in the meantime, the plan is we're going to skip the special 1, go straight to the special 2 with max Neuro Arrows, max Prowess, and then once we get the Neuroshocks on him after the special 2, we're just going to hit into him until he dies, and then you're going to see his LMD is not going to trigger at all here. So we triggered the Falter here, 5 Prowess, launched the special 2 while he's faltered, gaining the additional 5 Prowess buffs, and this does a butt ton of damage. We're going to let him hit into us again, push him to that special 2, and then the LMD is destroyed. He does not heal at all, and then the damage from the Neuroshock conversion itself ends up doing him in. Last but not least, let's cover her synergies, and when it comes to Dani, all of her synergies really fall into the nice-to-have category. None of them are required to play her. None of them are required to kind of get the most out of her. If you are going to use her in like day-to-day questing, the only one that I might recommend is this one here with Hawkeye and Kate Bishop that grants an additional 25% crit damage rating to her projectile hit. So that'll be all the arrows from her special attacks and also the gunshots on her special 2 as well. So her base crit rating I think is around 18%, and if you have the 7-star and you enable the precision stat focus like I have here, that's going to raise her crit rating to above 20%. And when you get some nice juicy crits on that special 2, she hits really hard, especially with that extra prowess. And if you can add more crit damage rating on top of that, it's just going to end the fight that much faster. That's going to do it for this one, folks. Dani Moonstar, one of the best mutants in the game, I think, right now. That utility for being able to automatically counter Nick Fury's second life is going to prove extremely valuable in Battlegrounds. She is an absolute blast to play. Really hope I can get her on my live account here. If this guide helped you in any way, please remember to hit like and subscribe for more content later. As always, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you again next time.